While playing Subnautica, there are a ton of different ways you can die throughout the game. From simply drowning to being sent into the void, we are going to cover the top 10 worst ways to die in Subnautica. Also, just to clarify, this video is purely just for fun and what I thought of, so if you have any better ways the player can die in Subnautica, leave them in the comments and I'll heart the really good ones. But getting straight into the video, we have number 10, swimming too far down and drowning. Every Subnautica player, especially in the early game, has found themselves on the ocean floor looking for resources only to not pay attention to their oxygen and desperately make the attempt to swim to the surface, only to barely not make it. One of my biggest fears is drowning, and the thought of being so close to the surface and not making it is a pretty bad way to go out. But it's not that bad considering the other spots in this list, but it's number 10 and probably the most common way to die, so I just wanted to include it. For number 9, we have getting killed by crash fishes in the safe shallows. As a Subnautica player just starting out, the surrounding area is relatively safe. Sure, there are like stalkers nearby, but in all honesty, they rarely attack and don't do a lot of damage. But the real problem in the safe shallows is the crash fish. To a new Subnautica player, the caves in the safe shallows are where you'll find the most resources early on, but the problem is they are littered with crash fish. To a new player, you're not going to know that it's a threat, it just looks like a spot on the side of the cave. But when you get closer, they will chase you and blow up. And if you don't have a sea glide yet, they are faster than you, and you're not out swimming them. For number 8, this one was actually recommended by one of my subscribers, so yeah, thank you for that. Oh, it's getting stepped on and then shit on by a sea treader. Now, this death is actually so hard to obtain that I couldn't even get footage for it. For some reason, the sea treaders wouldn't even attack me, so I had to use 144p footage from some random guy that has footage of it. So, yeah, enjoy this gameplay. But it's actually so hard for them to attack you. I don't even know why you'd swim in front of their faces in the first place. But if you manage to get stepped on or kicked by them, and then later stepped over, then shit on, Subnautica might not be a game for you. If you manage to die this way, it's actually crazy. But also, speaking of embarrassing, awful ways you can die at Subnautica, we have number 7, and this is dying to fall damage. If you die to fall damage in the game that's 90% water, that might be a skill issue. I don't even think there's really any spot on the map where you can fully fall and lose all of your health. Maybe at the top of the island mountain, but other than that, you have to be low on health and then make a stupid decision to jump off a cliff. If you die from fall damage in Subnautica, you might want to change games. But for number 6, we have going cave diving and getting lost. Now, I can understand exploring caves, but when it's underwater, that's a different story. Cave diving is probably one of the stupidest hobbies I've ever seen. In Subnautica, and especially below zero, there's a lot of caves, and you'd go into them looking for resources, and then probably get turned around, not knowing where the exit is, and then later drowning. This is actually a pretty bad way to die. I don't know why anyone would want to go cave diving IRL in the first place. But if I died like this in Subnautica, I'd be pretty mad. And then it would suck trying to go back in and try to find your resources in the cave, and then getting lost again. So for that, it's in number 6. For number 5, we have going into the jelly shroom caves and being killed by a crab snake. Now, upon entering the jelly shroom caves, it's easy to see the bright colors and think the biome is relatively safe to swim in, until you approach one of the jelly shrooms and get stabbed and eaten by one of the crab snakes. There's a reason why there's an abandoned Degassi base there in the first place. It's probably one of the most beautiful biomes in the game, but also incredibly dangerous because there's just crab snakes swimming everywhere in that enclosed area. But yeah, I would not want to die that way. For number 4, we have dying in the lava zone from burning to death. So for this one, let's just say you're in the lava zone with your Cyclops submarine, and for some reason the Cyclops is way out of its depths, and then not only that, but there are leeches on your submarine. So you go outside, take the leeches off of your submarine, only to be slowly burnt by the hot water. After getting the leeches off the submarine, you notice that the submarine is now on fire. Repairing it is useless because for some reason you are way far down, so now you have two choices: burn alive in the submarine, or boil outside the submarine in the water. I know that this will probably never happen to anyone else, but while messing around in a game, this happened to me, so I just wanted to include it as a fun one. Number 3, we have a Reaper attack. Now, it would be boring if I just said getting eaten by a Reaper and that was it. So for this one, let's pretend you are a new player who doesn't know what a Reaper is, but you also for some reason have a Cyclops submarine. You're traveling around the map at night only to see a weird ping on your radar, so you look at the cameras and just see this. This actually happened to me game and it was terrifying, so I kind of wanted to include this. And for also some ungod known reason, I don't know why I did this, but you go out of your ship to go touch it, and then it actually just jump scares you. Where's he at? Hold on, I don't see him. Mr. Reaper. Oh my. That's probably the scariest moment I've had in Subnautica. Number 2, we have trying to explore the Degasi base and then not knowing why they are abandoned in the first place. Now this kind of also ties into the Jelly Shroom one, but for this one we're going to be talking about the one in the Lost River entry point. On my first playthrough, I remember coming across the Degasi base here, and for some reason not seeing the giant crab squid in the area. Now, I don't have a fear of spiders, but let me tell you, this thing is an abomination. And God had no hand in creating this disgusting piece of shit. And finally, for number 1, the worst way the player can die at Subnautica. We have exploring a little too far out in the prawn suit and jumping off the edge. Now, there are 2 choices when you're falling in the void in the prawn suit. Leave the prawn suit and be killed by ghost leviathans, or stay in the prawn suit until it breaks, and then be killed by ghost leviathans. If you're lucky, you would drown first, which is also awful. But this is actually just terrifying because the ecological dead zone is just black. It's just black. There's nothing there. It's just pitch black everything with screams of ghost leviathans coming to kill you. This is actually probably the worst way you can die. I could not picture a worse death. But also, I actually wanted to include a bonus death, because this happened to me in a creative game when I was just trying to get footage for the video, and for some reason the water turned off, so I was just playing Earth Nautica at that point, until I fell into the floating island area and couldn't escape because there was no water to swim out. And only when I thought it couldn't get worse, I fell. For some reason I walked into a thermal vent, and then I wasn't able to die since I was in creative, and I wasn't able to unstuck because it would just spit me out in the exact same place. So there I was, just trapped in eternity inside the lava hell pit. So this is actually hell, and that's probably the worst way you could forever be stuck. My God! Help me! But that doesn't really count since it was just a glitch. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the video till the end. I appreciate all the new subscribers from the previous Subnautica video. It means a lot to me. I do plan on uploading some other horror content shortly, so thank you guys for watching, and this video is purely just for fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comments on what other worst deaths there are, because I just wanted to include a few for the video just for fun. So hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh my God!